Says you're said you're outside in the heat.
Yeah. Well, I'm in the house all day long, and I was like, I gotta go outside. I can't. If I don't, I won't be done till we're done, and then I gotta start making dinner and stuff. So I have to get out here when I can.
Yeah.
Here
All right. So who's here? We have Tara. We have myself. We have Debbie. I'm going too fast, so I'll stop for a minute. We have Chris and Mert. Jane Countryman.
Right.
She's a friend. And Hal.
Oh, there's Denise.
And Gary.
Steve.
And Steve. I'm sorry. You're just a number with a white phone.
Yeah, I don't have a laptop.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I
I'm on
didn't
my phone.
forget you. It's just because I can't see you.
Yeah, and Bruce said he will be attending, but he was at a graduation, so he might be a little bit late. So hopefully he'll join us in a little bit.
And this is Julia. I'm here too, but I had dental work done this afternoon and I can't talk very well. So I'm just here as a community member. So
Julia, what's your last name?
Koberlein. It's Koberlein.
Okay, great. Thanks.
All right.
Are you the phone number ending in 838?
Yes.
Okay, then that's it.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and we'll go ahead and get kicked off. So it's what, 6:36. And everybody received the minutes from Denise and got a chance to review those.
Yep.
Any questions or adjustments that need to be made, or are we all good to approve last month's minutes?
I don't think I'm getting them.
You didn't get them? I can send them to you.
Oh, okay. I was going to say.
I did not get them either.
Oh, nobody got them? I usually just send them to Tara. And so I thought that you were sending them out. But
no, sorry. No, I thought they usually went to everybody, or at least Stacy and I, and then she posted them. So I apologize. My fault.
And I haven't posted them because I've been working on all this stuff that has to get done before we open. So I'll send them to everybody tomorrow.
I did look for them online and didn't see them. So.
I honestly didn't get them up yet.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, everybody. I didn't realize. Let me see if I can find them real quick and I'll send them along. So, in that case, we can go ahead and move on. I will send these out, but I know not everybody will get a chance to review them in time. So we might have to table that for next time. Sorry, I'm just looking really quick. Okay, here we go. All right, so I just went ahead and sent those out. Hopefully you'll be getting those soon. The bills, did everybody get a chance to look at Stacy's the billing information that she sent out?
Yes, I did.
I just have one question. Maybe I've missed it or haven't picked up on it. We have still have the two lines for the RD, for the RDG and Chris, new company.
So Monica is basically like a bookkeeper that comes in and she puts all the stuff into QuickBooks, and then Chris oversees all of that and makes sure everything's in line, and he generates the report.
Gotcha. I must have missed that on the other ones. I apologize for that. I caught it. Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Okay then, let's see here. So did anybody have any questions about anything that was sent out or reviewed?
No.
In that case, I'm just trying to get the, do you have the invoices right there, Stacy, or no?
I do. I do. You want me to tell the numbers?
Here,
It was
sounds-
71 through 83, if I remember right.
Yes.
Yep. It's number 71 through number 83. And the grand total is $13,936.06.
Perfect, thank you. So, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Is everybody in favor?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
I forget you can't see, because we can see you. All right. So I'm going to hold off on the budget review portion, I think, and hopefully, like I said,
Bruce?
Bruce can join in a little bit. But I didn't know, Gary, if you had anything that you wanted to bring up with Chris ahead of time. Otherwise, we can wait till Bruce jumps on.
I don't think so. I mean, unless you want me to talk about the meeting that Stacy and Chris and I had.
Sure. If you want to
Okay.
catch everybody up, that'd be great.
So the three of us met, Chris, Stacy, and myself. Really, it was kind of begin the budget process a little bit, as well as one of our objectives was to look to see some of the puts and takes and other opportunities, etc. We are, and Chris will go through the financials, but because we are seeing some spending less in some areas, spending more in some areas. I mean, there's there's definitely some puts and takes. As you all know, Stacy had given us that report on the staffing numbers and how reduced staffing would have some potential savings for next year. So the biggest concern is going to be a question for Bruce, and that's about whether or not we know what the impact is going to be from the town. The budget process, and this is somewhat new to me, as you all know, so we have to have an approved budget to the town by September 1st. We have that, if I back up, that means the library board has to approve the budget to give to the town by our August meeting. Okay, so in order for us to approve a budget, I think I should, with Stacy and Chris's help, get a budget to you guys in the July meeting so that we can go back and make any tweaks or whatever and get it out prior to the August meeting so that hopefully then everybody can approve it. So in order to get it done for July, this is the June meeting, we got 1 month to get it done, okay? To do the budget, we need to know if there's any assumptions that are going to need to be made, and that's what we need, Bruce's feedback for, to find out. And that was a gist of kind of where we went with our meeting, kind of the planning process, looking at some of the numbers. We, are seeing, some spending less in some areas. As you know, we got PPE spend that we didn't have before. We've got, there's some, less spending maybe in materials, less spending in we got less revenue coming in. There's no fine revenues, copy of revenue, etc. So there's all these puts and takes, but until we really know what the impact is going to be of the town, it's kind of hard to be able to forecast our budget. So Chris or Stacy, anything you want to add?
No, I think you did a good job.
Yeah, spot on.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so I look forward to getting some updates from Bruce. So hopefully, like I said, he'll be able to join us shortly and we can get a jump on that and see what we're looking at for this crazy upcoming year. All right, Chris, I'll pass the torch to you unless there's any other questions along those lines.
All right. Stacy, can I share my screen? Am I able to?
You can try. If it doesn't work, well, let me do this. Oh, it's working. Yes.
Got it.
All right. So I sent these out earlier today. Sorry, I usually try to get them out at least the Friday beforehand, but RDG's been kind of slammed with their bookkeeping for the past few weeks because of the whole shift in workflow because of the pause and everything like that. So so they just were able to get through things late on Friday, actually over the weekend. So so what we see here, same as usual. This cover page is the budget summary. This is where you see revenues and expenses, year-to-date budget, year-to-date totals, some variances, and a few notes. And the reserve number, the 507 number, just a real high-level number for everybody just to get a comfort level about the reserves that the library has. They're not restricted, they're not encumbered or anything like that, but that the library receives its tax levy early in the year and it has to last all year. So if that number got low, there would be an issue. We're not seeing a whole lot of revenue coming in throughout the year, even though Stacy does a really good job getting gifts and grants and things like that. So the top line, tax-based revenue, you see that that's a little bit over budget right now by the tune of about $16,000. That variance is because of the way that the Gananda and the Farmington budget numbers were put into the budget in QuickBooks. That'll even out throughout the course of the year. That you'll actually be almost exactly on budget by the time the end of the year rolls around. As Gary mentioned, fines are down because of the library closing. Gifts and grants are also down, even though we're getting some in, really not the same level as before. And that's really just the overall giving environment that we're in right now. Interest income is under budget. That's also an estimate, and we just record it as we receive it. So that's going to be a timing thing. Hopefully that evens out throughout the course of the year. Miscellaneous revenue is down. A lot of that is also due to the closing, and that also is budgeted pro rata throughout the year, and that comes in fits and splits throughout the year. So that likely will even out once things get back to somewhat normal. So overall revenue is actually over budget by about $12,000. That's a little bit skewed because of that tax-based revenue. So if you take that out of the picture, we're a little bit under revenue, like Gary mentioned, mostly due to the closing. On the expense side of things, expenses, the positive here is that expenses are under budget by about $33,000. Similar to the tax-based revenue up above, that the variance that was timing related, same thing with the benefits. The benefits are showing under budget by about $17,000, but that's not real because the library pays its retirement and its health benefits to the town when the town sends the bills. They did pay the retirement though. One of those did come, but the health benefits haven't yet. So right now, those are we're accruing the amounts that we're withholding from the employees, but not making any payments. So that's just, but until we make a payment, that's going to be a little bit under budget for sure. Salaries are under budget because of the closure. That likely would even out over the course of the year, but I don't think it will. I think it's going to actually stay under budget now for a while. If we do get up, I know we'll talk about it a little bit during the budget considerations, but if we do ramp things back up to, let's say, full staffing levels like they were before the COVID issue, we're not going to catch up with salaries. So we'll probably be below budget there for salaries. Same thing with the contractual. There are a lot of materials in there. And while Stacy's purchasing everything that the library needs right now, the level of materials needed just aren't the same as they were when the library was fully open and had the full programming.
Hey, Chris,
Yeah,
I know you got on a line number on there under contractual that says the New York State Library contract not paid. Is that PLS, Stacy?
Yeah, that bill just,
And that just came in, right? I was in the list of bills.
yeah,
So is that reflected or not reflected in these numbers?
nope, you'll see that next month. That'll be in the June cash payments.
Okay, so Stacy, that number was like what, 9,000 something?
yeah, right, just on,
So that just wiped out your $8,000 right there.
Yeah. So that expense is also budgeted pro rata. So you know
Okay.
you only have about $4,500 worth of that expense of
Is
that
in,
1,000. Yeah.
okay. So you do like half a year and half a year or something?
Yeah. It's
Okay.
1/12. It's 1/12 and 1/12.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
That's how QuickBooks is designed to just take everything by month, and it just takes everything by 12th unless you hard key things in specifically, which unless we know for sure, we usually don't try to pretend that we're going to know.
So in reality, then, once you pay it, since QuickBooks is only doing 1/12, you still got 6/12 to,
Yeah.
will end up being,
Right.
flip side.
Correct. You are
Okay.
correct. And that's really because we're just on the cash basis for reporting. We could have a prepaid expense and recognize just the accrual basis expense on a monthly basis to really make it match. But I think that's fun, but I think it's a lot of bookkeeping that we probably don't have to get into. So you're right. So once we make that payment in June, next month, you'll probably see it. You'll see contractual being over budget. And the reason will be that we paid the full year on the library contract.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So overall, operating results wise, we're doing better than budget, favorable to the tune of about $45,000. If you were to take out $15,000 from the revenue, that would be a $30,000 favorable variance. Take out another $15,000 from the variance. You're at about $15,000 favorable right now. So I think $15,000 is what I'm thinking in my head right now when I look at this as the real over budget amount that or favorable to budget that the library is really sitting in. And like you said, Gary, about $5,000 of that is that library contract that'll go away. So maybe it's more like 10,000. And I don't think I don't think all of that will even out, but we'll see as I think it's really hard to predict things right now. So any questions at all on that?
I think you're right on that, Chris. I think it's just very, very hard to predict anything with any degree of confidence.
Yeah.
Every day things change. Every day, literally everything. Really, everything changes. Like how you can operate, the cost of operations, the rules for employment, the rules for really all the pieces move on a daily basis. And I think that as a prelude to budget conversations, it's going to be hard to budget for things when we don't know. We can do our best with the expenses, but then if we have a moving target with revenue, it makes it virtually impossible. So I think that's where that's the conversation that we have to get. We have to get to a comfortable place with the revenue piece so that we know what we have to hit from an expense standpoint. Otherwise, we're just shooting blind.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Chris.
Yeah, and I'll hang out until Bruce gets on so we can talk about the budget too.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think either way, a cushion is definitely comforting, as we sit here right now. So it's a good thing that we'll hopefully be able to hold on to get us through. Let's see. So let's bump to our friend from the Friends Liaison, who we have Jane with us tonight. How are you?
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you got a little bit of a delay, but
You're on mine too.
Oh, no, actually, you are kind of, I can't really hear you. You sound really far away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait a minute,
Hmm.
let me,
Now I can see people. Suddenly I
can you
can
hear me
see
better?
people, so that's good. Okay.
Can you hear me better now? Hello?
It's
What
a
did
little
you
better.
say? I can't hear
Pardon?
you that well. Are you
Okay,
still there?
well, yeah, I'm here.
You could try calling in on your phone and having the visual on your computer if your computer audio is not working well.
Well, I can hear you guys fine. That's
Oh,
why
you're
I
better
figured
right
you could.
now.
Oh, am I?
That's,
Yeah.
So Stacy, either mute us all or so she can do her talk. I think it'll work better. Or everybody go on mute.
Yeah, everybody just mute themselves.
I got it.
Well, then nobody will interrupt me.
Mm,
Okay, or can you hear me okay or not?
Yes.
Okay? Hello, are you there?
Hi,
I
yes,
need to,
we can hear
okay,
you.
okay, all right, so, there were no new meetings held for the Friends and also for the Friends fundraising committees. Hopefully both groups will be able to meet in July, depending on the opening of the library and the use of the community room. Okay. The Friends fundraising committee is scheduled to meet on July 9th, and the Friends are scheduled for July 14th. All planned fundraising events that were scheduled since mid-May have been postponed or canceled. Once the committees meet again, they hope to resume the previously planned events. We had probably 5 different events planned. Besides the book sale, we had different raffles, a big Gigunda raffle that was going to go on and 2 smaller ones. Of course, everything ticket-wise was going to be accessible through the library, which kind of put everything on hold. So the Friends Grant Committee was able to meet in person on May 20th at the town hall in the large meeting room with Supervisor Leonard's approval and with social distancing in place and mask. The town provided the supplies for the cleaning up afterwards. So, and because there were only 4 committee members, and including the president of the Friends, we weren't a large group. So that was why Kim, this was the Wednesday, they opened up on the Monday, the 15th, or the 18th, whatever the Monday was, and we met on the 20th. So they had been open a few days. So all the grant forms were revised in March, which after the library closed, I had to go in and update all the forms to change them so that people would be able to respond either through the mail or by email. And those were all to go to the chairman of the committee, which is Mert. 6 grants were received, and those 6 grants were discussed and approved at the meeting. One other grant was approved 2 weeks later by email by the committee members. The 7th grant was originally submitted by the deadline application, but was lost in the cyber world. After some investigation, I discovered it had been sent to the wrong email address. Once we discovered it, the committee received the grants to review it and it was approved. This grant had been set in time before the deadline, so there was no reason that we couldn't review it and vote on it. So, so all the 7 submitted grants that were submitted were approved. Even though the funds is available this year from RACF, were not enough to cover the 7 grants. Because of COVID-19 and the programs that were scheduled from the previous year, from mid-March on, were not held. So therefore, there was unspent funds available, which allowed the 2021 grants to be fully funded. If this had not been the case, all submitted grants would have been reviewed and actions, the committee would have taken actions to partially only possibly fund them because there wouldn't have been enough money out there. But we had a sizable amount of money with having so many concerts and speaker series and other things canceled. So even though the COVID-19 was a bummer as far as it goes, it allowed us to approve all of the grants that were submitted. So so that can be a good thing. So that's pretty much it, really. That's all that we've got going on, and can't wait for the library to open up again. So hopefully maybe this meeting I'll get an idea on that. And then we can go from there, because we still have our book sale in the fall that's planned, and our chicken barbecue, which is not, we won't have a problem holding that. They've been holding chicken barbecues, the caterer that we have, all the way through this, and been doing fantastic business. So we don't see that to be if for some reason the book sale can't be held, we can still have our barbecue to get some kind of fundraising in. So anyway, okay, that's it.
Thank you.
I'm done.
Thank you so much. All right, and it looks like Bruce has joined us. Hi, Bruce. Hope graduation went well. Oh, you're muted. Take yourself off.
Remember to take yourselves off mute.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks for asking. My daughter graduated last Friday, but I got a chance to go to Rush Henrietta, and they did like this little parade, which turned into a really slow-moving traffic jam. I got to see a lot of kids that I had for 6th grade, which was fun.
Oh, nice.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
Congratulations on your daughter.
Thank you.
That's exciting.
Yep. She's got me ordering all the things that she needs for the fall.
She's still gonna go be a nurse?
She wants to get into speech language. Pathology.
Even better.
Yeah.
I saw a train the other day. We were stopped at the tracks, and it was all Amazon Prime. So that must be all of your orders coming for your daughter.
That's half of them. It should be half of the orders.
The other half is probably my stuff. So I get that.
She gets more packages than I do now.
All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and put you right on the hot spot, Bruce.
Sure.
We went through and chatted about our budget review, and there was a meeting that Stacy and Chris and Gary had about planning for the 2021 budget.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, there's a lot of unknowns there. So we're looking and hoping for is any updates to what you know and how to guide us into planning that 2021 budget.
I don't have much at all to guide you, unfortunately. And we haven't had the conversation with our own departments yet either about how the budget is impacting. I know that the supervisor's working hard to try to figure it out. We are going to be negatively impacted. I just don't know to what degree. I mean, sales tax income is down quite a bit over the last few months.
Do you have any sense, Bruce, at all of timing? And the reason we ask is, as we were having our discussion, we're trying to back into having a budget to the town by the 1st of September and have it approved by the board by our August meeting. Apologize for my cuckoo clock here. And then, so we really want to try to get our budget, drafted, by next meeting, which is the July meeting. So about a month from now. And so any guidance is going to be really helpful for us to do that. And just curious as to, based on those kind of timelines, do you have any sense of dates, or, could you take that back? And, that's what we're really looking for as a time frame.
Yeah, I will definitely take that back. I meet with the board on Thursday. I'm going to be in the office tomorrow to have a meeting with the court about their reopening. And I'll talk to the supervisor tomorrow when I'm in the office and see if I can get some more specifics. I mean, my suggestion would be if you can keep a flat budget, that would be optimal.
So that's what we figured we would start with is, we'll plan for a flat budget and go from there. So until we hear anything different, we based on the conversation you gave us last time and the fact that Stacy's, made some adjustments, we know there's going to be some savings this year to try to help us with next year with the increase in benefits, increase in, retirement costs, increase in, healthcare, increase in minimum wage, all those things. With the flat budget, we think that we can, with the adjustments we're making, we're hoping that we can cover that. So that's the assumption we're going to go forward with at this point till we hear differently from you, I guess.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Anything else anybody want to add to my statement? I don't want to. Everybody in agreement with that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Mhm.
I did.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Yes.
Mhm.
And I'll mention that too, that the library is working hard to present a flat budget this upcoming year. I did have a conversation with Paul Rubery again. I think it was 2 weeks ago. And as I had mentioned before, he did say that he had $100,000 that they would like to put into escrow. He was looking to ask for some guidance around how that money would be invested. He's been asking us for a while now to show that we can invest the money and to gain a high enough interest rate. And I know that we've had this conversation on and off. I asked if they would invest it for us and then write a check with the dividend. And he seemed receptive to that. So I think he's going to set up an account for us. In talking to the town board, I believe that they prefer to not be middlemen and just have the check go directly to the library. So I'll follow up with him in a couple weeks to see how that's been progressing. And hopefully that can be a little something extra that you can use for the next year. Additionally, this is non-budget, but he talked about an addition for the Bullis room, and I don't mean space-wise. I mean an artifact that was Nettie Bullis's. It's a watch that was manufactured by Gleason Works. I guess it was in recognition of 50 years of service. It's got a $900 value. It's engraved. So he was asking about, he thought that might make a nice addition to the Bullis room.
Okay.
So I told him that I'd bring that up. That's something that you'd like to have in there.
Sure, but it probably should have some sort of a locked box that it could be displayed in, I would think.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We have a locked
Yeah.
space, but it's full at the moment. And I can't think of anywhere else in the room that would be secure. I mean, if it's worth that much, it would want to be, locked down in some way, but in a way that I think it should be visible. I don't know if Mr. Rubery would have any thoughts on that.
Yeah, okay.
And then along those lines, is there any kind of, do we have to update any kind of insurance or anything like that in the event? Is there anything that we've had to do in the past with?
I don't think we'd have to. I don't think we'd have to upgrade any insurance around that.
Yeah. It's
Well, we
under
could ask
$1,000, I doubt it.
List it somewhere, or
Can you say that again?
sorry, the dogs were going nuts. coyotes in the side yard. So I just didn't know if we'd have to like list it on a plan or a policy or something, just in the event that something happened, but just
Right,
covering all bases.
right, okay.
I do have a question regarding the money that's going to be invested. Did you say it would be $100,000?
Yes.
So is that the money that what is that money? Is that the money that was attached to the Bullis collection?
Or was it the interest?
That's the money that's being managed by the Rochester. Is it the Rochester? Rochester
RICF. It's easier to say RICF.
RICF.
No, A.
RACF, Rochester Area Community
Community
Foundation.
Foundation.
Station.
Keep forgetting that name. Yeah. So it's money being managed by them. I don't know if it's directly related to the Bullis Fund or not.
So it's separate. It's not the money that Nettie bequeathed as part of the collection in the
No, it would be an addition.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah, that's very nice.
When you have that conversation with him, I don't know if Chris or Gary, if you want to have a follow-up, Chris, Gary, Stacy, or if you just want to save it for the next meeting, or if there's a possibility like a group meeting, or I don't know how you want to plan that, if you want to deal with him directly, Bruce, and then just give us some feedback.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll follow up with Paul Rubery in a couple weeks.
Okay.
So that we can have a conversation about that and how it will impact next year's budget.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, we just have to build a line item in for it. That's all. I mean, I'm sure it's already probably something that's already there. We just got to add to.
Also, would there be any strings attached to the interest at all?
No, not officially. I mean, it's interest. I mean, it's got to be used for the library, obviously. I mean, my only recommendation would be that you don't use it to purchase things that increase the overall maintenance costs for the library.
But it could be used on anything else, like it could be used for payroll or materials or daily.
And that's my understanding.
No, so I don't know why.
Yeah, I would think once we get the final verdict and how it is, maybe we would want to come together and discuss plans and.
Yeah, I mean, as you go forward, I would pretend that we didn't have the conversation and just budget as if it's not available.
Right.
Oh, right.
I mean, it's that money's got to, when it happens, and I want to see it happen first.
Yeah.
But my assumption is it's got to accrue interest over a year.
Yeah. Yeah, it probably won't have any impact on next year's budget. So,
Right.
No, I wasn't thinking it would, but I was just wondering if in years to come there would be strings attached, because other monies that have been connected to Nettie Bullis's estate have been very specific in how they're to be spent. So I didn't know if this might be similar.
I'll get some clarification around that.
just as a quick math, $100K, 2% interest, maybe, $2,000 a year.
Right.
So just give you a sense.
Yeah. Yeah, we're not going on vacation with it.
Yeah.
You can get cruises pretty cheap now. So.
They come with a virus too.
Yeah.
Lord, good God. All right. Gary or Chris, any other questions, comments, any other sticking points we want to bring up while we have Bruce in the spotlight.
Not
Gary's
from-
good.
Yeah, so is Chris.
Okay, so you've been having a conversation about the library opening, right?
Mhm.
Is that part of the agenda that I missed?
No,
No,
Not yet.
okay. So right now, the library is open, but it's only curbside. Is that correct?
On Monday, it will
On
be,
Monday,
we start curbside.
okay, Monday starts curbside.
Yeah, I sent the plan and all our policies associated.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, little light
Well, I
reading.
guess I sent it to you all, didn't I? Because I just, replied all.
Okay. I mean, the one sticking point for us, and I don't mean for the library, I mean for the town, is around the cleaning. And we've been trying to navigate through all of the criteria that must be met in order to open that building. And unfortunately, it gets further complicated with sharing the space with the court. So if one opens, the other one's got to open.
Right.
And how we would manage the number of people that come in and how we would enforce that, and then how we clean up daily afterwards. And sometimes the guidelines are as clear as mud. They seem to be changing quite often.
It's very fluid.
Yes, yes. And so
I think the one benefit we have compared to you, Bruce, is we're just doing appointments. And it's very limited number of people, that can even go in the library.
right,
Yeah.
right.
Really, it's one per hour if they need a laptop. That's it for
Okay.
July.
And they have to make an appointment to do that?
Mhm. If the town wants to look at the library's website and see some of the things I've put together to be able to have appointments, and if they like some of these things, I'm willing to, share how I did it.
Yeah, okay. I'll take a look at that because I'd like to update everybody on how you're going to be running starting Monday. Obviously, you received an email and there was a misconception that was not started by me that the library was open to the public.
No,
I don't understand how some people came under that understanding.
no. And there was a whole write-up in the paper today. A press release did appear in the paper today
Okay,
about it. So,
The other thing I think that's worth mentioning to Bruce, Stacy, is you're really taking the guidelines from the Pioneer system in all libraries across the Pioneer system. So I don't think you're doing anything different that isn't being done pretty, everybody's got little differences, nuances.
yeah, well,
But I think it's worth Bruce knowing, that you're getting some real directive.
right. And there could be, like Walworth is like a week ahead of us just because of decisions their town went with. That could have caused confusion because Walworth and Macedon are so close.
Mhm.
And if Walworth has already opened for curbside, maybe that's created a little bit of confusion.
okay.
I don't know, just a
I don't
thought.
either.
Could have been
All right.
that.
And Palmyra's doing drop-offs too. So maybe between the two.
What is Palmyra doing?
They're doing their drop-offs.
Oh, we're doing that.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, I don't know if like the
Yeah.
swirl kind of.
Palmyra Library and our library are pretty much on the same schedule.
Yep.
Because Patricia and I talked, and I think we're pretty in sync. I mean, there could be some small differences, but the big stuff we're the same as far as I know.
So Bruce, are you, and I apologize, I'm telling you something you already know, but, Stacy's meeting with other librarians and the Pioneer system, and they've actually, I think, Stacy, they've provided a lot of these templates
Yes.
and guidelines. And so
Okay.
everything that she's published has come, from these sources that are all kind of collectively working together,
Okay.
All right. If you didn't know that, I want to make sure you did.
No, I appreciate that. So Stacy, the attachments that you shared,
Mm-hmm.
were those examples of some of the work that came from the Pioneer system?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, super.
Yep. Some of it's slightly different. Like there was a model for more of a Panera style, like a pickup which Walworth is doing, but we just don't have a lobby that lends itself to that. So we're doing curbside, touchless, deliver it to your trunk or, tailgate, whatever.
Yeah.
Because the whole idea is you don't want people congregating. So if you don't have a big space, you can't really do the Panera style, come in the library and pick your thing up and go. We don't have, and I didn't know what might happen in the community room. I didn't know. Plus we have to have room to quarantine the books. They're quarantined for 4 days. They don't go back out on the shelf till the 5th day. Just to be extra cautious.
Right, because was it 3 days originally?
It's 3. If you read some of the literature, there are some experts that think it could be as much as 3.5. I read that and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to go with 4. That way, if the few experts that are saying it could be a little longer are right, you know what I mean? It's better to be overly cautious than not cautious enough, in my opinion.
Okay.
And 1 extra day of quarantine certainly isn't going to be the end of the world.
Right. Unless you're a 5th grade teacher that's teaching online for 3 months.
The other thing the town will see, Bruce, is I think Stacy's you're having dedicated pickup parking spots.
Yes.
Yeah, that's good.
You'll see that, as people are going in and out of the town building.
Yeah.
They'll see those markings for those spots.
Yeah, it'll be the spots to the left of the front entrance.
Okay, is that also on the library's webpage?
It is not, but we tell people what's happening when they go through the whole process to place an order and pick their curbside delivery time. Then they know. And all it is, like the sorts of signs like you use if you're running for election, or the ones I had made that say love your library, love your town. They're like that, but they're an orange starburst like shape.
Okay.
And then it'll just say pick up delivery number 1, pick up delivery number 2, and you're told which spot to go to.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Like,
if I wanted to borrow a book from the library, I call the library.
You have 2 options. You could either call us directly and we would do the online booking for you, because we recognize not everybody can use a computer, or maybe they don't have access. But if you have a computer, we have online tools, so you can just sign up, and you can only get 5 items, up to 5 items at a time.
Okay, and then so if I got online to reserve, and thanks for walking me through this. If I got online to reserve a book or books up to 5,
right?
During that process, at the end of it, it'll tell me where to go, or when the books are ready. Do I get an email?
Well, then you can get an email or a phone call. We ask for that information on the form.
Okay.
And then you could do at the same time, you could book a curbside appointment.
Okay.
Or you could wait for us to call you and we could do that for you.
Okay.
And then you'll know, if you book your curbside appointment, you're going to know that you're picking a certain, like if you go to the library's website, you'll see it, because they're.
Okay, yeah, I'll do that. I'm going to play around.
So I actually did it, Bruce.
Yeah,
I've already made a request for books and actually picked my appointment. I went through the whole process. It was pretty simple. You fill out this form. First you got to figure out what book you want and if it's available. So you got to check OWL to see if it's, and it has to be a Macedon book, but you can't pick up anything other than Macedon.
Okay.
So once I knew the title, the author, and I think that was really the key things they were looking for, what media it was, whether it was a audio or DVD or whatever. And then you just fill it in the form. You got 5 slots to put in 5 items. You submit it, you get an email confirmation that your order was submitted, and then you go and you pick your appointment time. And they're every 15 minutes, and you pick which parking spot you want, and you get a confirmation back that you've got the appointment.
Right. Yep.
Okay.
Okay, great.
Good.
Yep.
All right, well, thank you
Sounds
for
great. I'm
thanks
hoping
for
it
the
works.
run through.
It sounds good. We don't know till we actually do all this, but I think it's going to work. We've already been getting orders and appointments have been set. So beyond Gary. So, people are trying it out, and our summer readings also gone virtual. There's a whole site where you can register for that.
Mhm.
We've had some people do that already. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I think it'll be okay. There's a form to register if you want to use that 1 hour long turn on the laptop. We're not using the regular public computers because we want the person in a specific spot. You know what I mean? So we're using
Isolated.
Yeah, isolated. And you have to wear a mask and use gloves, and the computer will be wiped with a special wipey, the whole works. What else? If you want a print job, like you have a fax or you need copies, there's a form for that. We'll come out to your car and get whatever materials, like say you need some form copied, you would give it to us and we'd copy it and bring it back out and you'd pay us.
Okay.
So and we'll all be wearing masks. We're already wearing masks. I don't know that we really need to be wearing masks at this point, but we're trying to as much as we can, mostly to get used to it right now.
Yeah.
And whenever we handle returned items, we're wearing gloves. We wipe everything down all the time.
Okay.
It's a lot of, you got to have a lot of sanitizer of whatever sort, anything the CDC says, because it's a lot of wiping stuff down, even for staff, because if you're on a computer and then you get off, you have to wipe it down because the next staff member, like just to keep it sterile. It's a lot of wiping down the phone, all of it. It's a lot of wiping. Get the wipies ready. And the spray bottles.
So I guess along those lines, one of the other agenda items was the communication of the reopening. So we had sent, did you send emails to everyone who has a card, and then we had the paper communication?
Well, I can't just send emails to everybody who has a card. I can only send emails to the people who have subscribed to receive emails. And they've all had it. It's been in the newspaper. It was in today. It's been in several newspapers, but it was in the Wayne Times today.
Okay.
So I don't know what else we can really do. It's on the website.
Okay, great. And any updates or modifications will be handled in the same way?
Regarding updates.
Modifications to processes, updates if you find something that isn't working well that you need to modify.
Right, we'd have to, tell people on the website, the same sorts of ways, Hopefully it'll all work out okay, but yeah. We did have to raise, no, I guess, in the plan, and I had thought 3 items, but because of what the system's doing, we're doing 5. I hope that's okay. Some places are doing a little more than that, but you have to consider, once we get going with this, you have to have space to quarantine all these books. So my thinking is 5 might be about right. Maybe it can be more, but let's first see what the workflow's like.
Yeah, you got quarantine, plus you got all these orders that are going to sit there till their appointment shows up.
Yeah, and
So, you got 25 orders in a day times 5 books, it's 100 books just sitting there. Waiting to go out the door.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So I think it's probably good. We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
How's the drop-offs going? Returns.
Oh, the returns, yes. They're lighter than we expected, but I guess that's not unusual.
Are people returning books now?
They are, but we thought it would be like a tidal wave of books, but that's just not what we're seeing. And I think most of the libraries in the system expected the same thing. Like once we opened the book drops, that people would just be coming out of the woodwork to get rid of the stuff. But everybody says the same thing. It's been way lighter than what we've expected. So I don't know, maybe people are waiting till we have curbside and they're just gonna hand over this stuff. I don't know. I guess that'll remain to be seen. The system extended everybody's due date to September 30th. So people maybe are just like, well, I got time, you know, so they're not panicked about it. So I don't know. I don't know why. I really thought it would be a lot heavier than it is. Like,
Would
way.
any outreach be possible? Try to
Not,
get some of the materials back into Macedon so we recirculate them?
do you mean like going to people's houses?
No, I mean reaching out to them via email or phone calls, you know, saying, hey, you had this book and did you know that we're open for drop-offs and you can do this process to check out new materials, just to kind of get those other materials back in.
That would be ideal, but I don't have the staff, to be frank. I don't.
No, I know. I was just more thinking, you know, some of those folks that couldn't be doing the people facing time, that might be, you know, they had time or needed something to do.
Yeah.
But
Well, Pat's been busy. I mean, Pat's definitely been busy doing things in the Bullis room. And she's definitely got people now that are fans of all her genealogy reports and teachings. So, I mean, she does keep busy. And we just had a huge request for somebody who's doing a research project. So, I mean, she does have stuff to do. It's not.
yeah, I was just more, I mean, mainly thinking of getting those materials back into the system so other people could enjoy them and, you know, just getting the word out there. Maybe people haven't heard, who knows, you know, where they're.
Yeah, we're not really, I mean, that would be very non-traditional to be looking in people's accounts. And I mean, that's just not something anybody's doing. Just not how.
What was the driver for September 30th? It just seemed like a long time to let them sit there.
I think at the system level, they were thinking they didn't want to have a deluge because, you know, they have to deliver, they only have so many delivery trucks and delivery people. And I think they were hoping that people would scatter their returns. So it would be, you know, not just a giant glut of stuff that would be hard for the people to get back where it needs to go.
August 29th. or
But
September, was it September 3rd? September 29th.
But I could ask Ron about your idea, Tara. I mean, I don't think anybody's doing that.
No, I mean, it was just a suggestion.
I like the idea, Tara, trying to get things, people have had it long enough to finish it or use it. So there's no reason that it can't come back, and just to sit in someone's house for 3 months and not have an opportunity for someone else to get it. I think it's would be good to do some sort of outreach personally.
Yeah, sounds like a good idea to me. If you have the staff for it.
Right, and that's the tricky part.
Or if Ron had some sort of automated way that he could ping people based
That-
on what, you know.
That's what I was going to say. It seems like it's the kind, you know, I don't know how the system, certainly how it works, but it seems like there should be a way to email the contacts of the persons in the system who have things out, like just a general.
Well, we do. We send overdue mailers out, but I mean, we don't.
This is a little different because it's overdue, but you might be ignoring it because, you know, if it's a typical overdue, not knowing that the library is open again.
Right. Nobody at the system level is really, at this point, that doesn't mean that they won't, but at this point, I think it's just, I mean, it's all new. We don't even have curbside till Monday. So I think the thinking now is let's just see what happens. Let's give it a little time. Like, it's possible the first week will be a deluge, or maybe the first couple weeks.
Sure, when they're picking up their new materials.
I mean,
or whatever.
I know we have at least probably a couple hundred books that'll be coming back mid-July from the school.
So Stacy, is it possible? I know you guys are going to be buried, okay, and I don't want to add I'm not trying to add a ton of work, but we don't meet until the 27th or something of July.
Right.
So for us, I think all of us are kind of anxious to know how are things going. So would it be possible for you to give us a weekly, just even short, hey, things are going as planned? Nothing's coming, nothing earth shattering, FYI. And,
Well-
just to kind of keep us in the loop.
Well, I think it would be highly recommendable to have a meeting around July 13th-ish, just to maybe have a little committee that looks at what's been going on, because July 27th is cutting it really close to decide on what we're doing in August. So maybe about halfway through July, whatever that date is, could be a good time for a little committee, whoever might be interested in meeting to discuss, how is it going? And based on what we're seeing, what sorts of ideas do we have for August? And then that way we could talk about it at the July meeting and decide, what we need to do regarding lots of different things.
I like that idea. I like that idea because I think it gives you time to assess what's going on. And by the middle of July, you can make slight plan changes if need be.
Right. Because July is kind of like sticking our toe in the pool. Maybe we can stick up, go up to our knees by August. Maybe we can't. We don't know. Maybe, we'll have more information too from the system at the system level and listening to what others are doing. And
Do you have a scheduled meeting of the PLS library directors that we maybe could come after that so that you've got that feedback to bring to the table?
Well, there'll be weekly meetings for a while. They're usually on Fridays. Plus, I got elected to be on PLASDAC, so I'm on this executive directors committee for the system, and so I'll be at those meetings and the Pioneer Library System meeting once a month. So I should have plenty of feedback to bring you. I guess it was a good year to get elected to that.
So, with that said,
Congratulations.
Well, it's not, everybody has turns. It's not like, thank you.
It's a rotational sequence.
Yeah.
Are you looking at the week then of the 13th that you'd like to meet?
Yeah, and I will have gone to the Pioneer Library System Board meeting, which should be, so having it after that would be good. I think that's July 10th.
Okay. I won't be around that week. I'll be heading south. So are there volunteers? I could maybe call in while I'm away, but I don't know if there's other volunteers that want to be on the reopening committee. I can definitely, keeping it up through August and all that, I can participate, but.
Gary will participate.
Sure.
Mert will participate.
Okay.
Okay, I heard Mert. Who said the first one?
Gary.
Okay, Gary, and I'll participate too.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Great.
Now, who's going to set up the Zoom meeting for that?
I will.
Stacey or?
Yeah, I'll send out
Okay.
a survey of some dates in that time period and see what works for everybody.
Great.
Okay.
Okay, so we have our communication, service modifications. Do we want to talk about the staffing consideration of an employee since we've lost two?
Yes. While we're on that, I'll read you the letters so they can be approved by the board, because it's a civil service thing you have to do. So this one is from Julie Howard. Thank you for the opportunity you have given me at the Macedon Public Library. I've enjoyed my time working with staff and patrons. Please accept my resignation effective immediately. And there was no problem here. She works at Newark Public Library full-time, and that was enough. And then the other one is from Christina Dipple, and she says, I would like to inform you that I am resigning from my position as library clerk at the Macedon Public Library for personal reasons. I have enjoyed working with the Macedon community very much and will miss everybody. Again, no, there was nothing wrong. She is a children's librarian at the Victor Farmington Public Library, so doing both was a little bit much. So I just
Okay.
want wasn't that, you know, anybody had any problems.
Issues?
Yeah, no issues, just too much in this strange time that we're in right now.
Sure.
But with that and the reduction in hours that the other employee has had, yeah, there should be, it would be nice if we could hire another person, especially looking toward August. If we wanted to try to have Saturdays back, it would be super helpful to have another person on board so we could make that happen. Because right now, it's hard. Julie and I are full-time. Kathy works a lot of hours, but she's not full-time. She has some flexibility. Shannon works at another library. Jessica, I can't work any more hours until I find out. She just took the civil service test today. So depending on that, she may be able to get a few more hours, but not like 18, but maybe 8 or 9.
And just to recap, because I'm not sure if Bruce is aware, but we had 2 folks that are coming back, but they can't do any patron facing.
Or patron facing.
I say that all day long. They can't do any patron facing time, so because of medical issues or you know, family members that they're caring for, they don't want them to be exposed in any way. So, and then we had the 2 folks quit or resign. So that really leaves us quite tight for any, you know, additional Saturday hours or just handling the new model of the library. So
right now, just to make it easier to understand, we have the equivalent of 3.5 FTEs. That's not very much, you know, 3.5. That's not a lot. That's including me.
How many hours a week, Stacy, were these 2 employees working?
It depended on the week, but at least, well, they weren't huge numbers, but between the 2 of them, it was like at least 6. Some weeks it could be 9, some weeks it could be 12. It depends on if other people need evenings off or whatever.
And so these people, if you hired them soon, they could be trained so that when you want to reopen your Saturday hours, they would be able to do that.
Well, that would be the hope. Or if they couldn't do Saturday, because Saturday is a little bit more, you kind of got to be on your toes because things come up and I'm not there. So you kind of have to have a good sense of the place. But if I had this other person so they could work in the week, then maybe we could, somebody else who would be willing to work Saturday could maybe move to Saturday because I'd have a person to cover their spot.
And at least temporarily until they got trained and up to speed.
Yeah, I mean, maybe, you know, by late fall, they'd be ready for Saturdays. It takes time to be ready for Saturday because there's a lot in the library to know.
You just want to make sure they have the availability, whoever you pick.
Right.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I support that. I think it's going to be necessary to lead into reopening and going back to more regular hours.
Yeah, Stacy, what happens if somebody gets sick that's there now? What do
Well,
you
that's
do?
another problem. If anybody gets sick, I mean, it's going to be a huge problem. We might either have to close entirely or close down early or maybe open later, depending on, you know, who it is. Or gosh, if somebody gets exposed or has a COVID scare and they're out for 2 weeks, I don't even want to think about it. And if it's 2 people, it's a disaster. If 2 people get sick, it's not going to be good.
Yeah. So you need some backup too.
Right.
And what are the most amount of hours that they can work? Is it just under the full time or is it less than that?
No, it's, if you get somebody and they're not on the civil service list, then you can work them up to 19 hours. But if they're on the civil service list and they're part-time, you can work them up to 29 hours.
Yeah.
Anything over that, you're getting into full-time area, and then you have to think about health benefits and all that.
I remember that from before. I just wanted to make sure that it was, nothing had changed.
No, it's still the same.
Okay.
So one of the things I just to add, as part of trying to do some of this budget work, I've been looking at other libraries and their budgets and their staffing. So Stacy, you said that we're currently like at about 3.3. So
3.5.
yeah, right. So just to give you a sense of some of the other libraries nearby, Lyons runs at around 5.5. Newark runs at like 12 people.
Walworth.
Ontario runs about 7.5. Palmyra's only around 5. Walworth's about 5.5. Williamson's about 7.5. So 3 point whatever, we're really under the gun here in terms of comparison to some of the other libraries nearby who are running similar hours. A couple of them have a little bit more, like Newark runs off more than 50 hours compared to our well, we were previously 48, but
yeah.
And I'm sure they're opening with less to begin with anyways, but just to give you a sense of where we kind of fit, some of the things I've been looking at as I'm starting to try to understand the budgets, comparing other libraries.
Yeah, thank you for looking into that. That's great to know.
Yeah, that's great. All right, so I guess with all of that said, are there any other questions or things that anybody would like to note in the event that we did vote and approve hiring someone? Anything that you want to put out on the floor as a requirement, other than the possible ability to work Saturdays in the future, the amount of hours, things along those lines? All right, so I will make a motion that we approve a position, one position, and I guess the question is, do we, before I make that motion, do we look for somebody that has taken the civil service to do up to the 29 hours? I will start there. I guess that's what I'll do. I'll start there. So I'll make a motion to approve the hiring of an employee that can work up to 29 hours.
But it's okay if the list is stale. It's okay to hire somebody that's not off the list, right? You know what I mean? Or maybe 2 people. Because sometimes the list is really stale, or everybody on the list is like on the other side of the county, and they're like, I'm not driving to Macedon,
So in the event that you can't find someone on the civil service list, then we look for someone that is not and can work up to the 22 hours.
And Saturdays.
And
19.
Saturdays.
It was 19 hours.
The range was 18 to 22 hours.
Oh, okay.
I was pushing it to the max.
Yeah.
Okay,
So 18 to 22 and Saturdays, is that right?
Well, including the Saturdays.
Okay.
Okay. All in favor? Sorry, someone.
Second it.
I'll second it.
Okay. And then all in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you.
Is that everybody?
That is everybody. And Gary, did we hear an aye from you?
Yes, you did.
Not,
Oh.
I'm sorry, Steve. Sorry.
Steve?
Are you on mute, Steve?
Are you with us, Steve?
It was just green.
I was looking at Gary's face and Steve's phone number. Sorry about that.
He's not muted. Oh, is he? Maybe that was.
338.
No, he's not muted.
Maybe we, Steve, are you there? Did we lose you? Okay. So we have Hal, Debbie, Mert, Gary, Tara,
Denise.
Denise.
Yep.
Sorry. Okay, great.
Can you hear me now?
There you are.
Oh, yeah.
Where'd you go?
Okay, it was a yes.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay, great.
All right, so then let's move on to our next voting for and discussion topic of the mailbox, PO box, our mail situation in general.
Just before we get on to the mailbox, could you approve the resignations of Julie Howard and Christina Dipple? Please?
I'll make a motion, we approve the resignations of those two individuals.
I'll second it.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Thank you.
That was everybody, Denise.
Yes, okay, thanks.
Okay, so the PO box, mailbox situation. So not sure if everybody had a chance to see the email threads where Stacy was approached by the postmaster. Historically, the mail has been left in the book drop box. I'm still not clear though on why we don't have a mailbox or currently.
I'm not clear on it either, to tell you the truth. I really, it would be different if we were in the same building, like at Walworth, everybody's in the same, but we actually have our own address. So I don't know. Bruce, do you know? I don't know.
I wasn't sure if I missed it in the email thread or if I glossed over it, but I was like,
How do you receive your mail?
A lot of times they put it in the book drop. Sometimes, I think in the pandemic, some stuff went to the town, but we don't
Okay.
have a mailbox.
All right.
And you know, so
And sometimes they brought it into the building when you were open, right?
yeah, if we're open, sometimes the lady would bring it, or if I happened to get there just right when she was pulling in with her mail truck, I'd say, "Hey, can I have the mail?" And she'd hand it to me.
How many articles of mail do you receive maybe on average daily or weekly?
It depends on the day, but now we get a lot of packages too. Like Amazon will send us movies sometimes piecemeal, so you might get 3 or 4 in like an envelope, like a mailer. And we get small boxes from them too with other things. If you count the packages and you count all the magazines, because we subscribe to something on the order of 60 magazines. I mean, it's a lot of mail, plus bills, plus.
And those go in the book drop.
Yeah, and it's just not a good idea now because quarantine the books. So,
right.
And we don't want to quarantine the mail.
Let me ask about that.
It might be ideal in case, God forbid, we should have to go on pause again. If we had a receptacle that could sit between the pole and the entrance to the library under the overhang, kind of like a book drop, but maybe not quite as large, but a stand-up receptacle, just, and you know, the mail and the packages, they make them so you can do it all with the one.
Isn't there a standard size? Isn't there a standard size for mailboxes?
What?
Isn't there a standard size for mailboxes? You can put anything that you want outside.
Right. I already talked to the post office.
There are standards.
Yep. And if the board has one that they like, I just have to go and show the postmaster, and it's pretty likely he'll approve it.
So I just have a a question, and I know Stacy, you were looking into the pricing and the different models and things like that. I don't mean to sound sassy, but would that be something that the town should provide since we rent from them, or does it technically fall on us, Bruce? Do you know?
Maybe we should ask the town to provide us with a mail drop.
That's kind of where I'm going, and I
Kind of
don't
where
mean
you
to
went,
sound
yeah.
sassy, but you know.
I mean, it makes sense. Let me ask about it. Did you do some pricing, Stacy?
Yeah, it's in my board report. Did you get my board
Okay.
report?
I did. I did not open it. I
Oh,
will admit
okay.
to that.
What's the number off the top of your head, Stacy?
For it's around 250 for
There you go. Thank you.
She gave some examples, Bruce,
Yeah, I
of
gave you
pictures of what you could buy.
yeah.
Super.
I
All
started
right.
off looking at something like what the town has for, well, occasionally right now, because you're locked up, I sometimes get the town's mail, and I'm sorry, but I put the mail in there because the door's locked. I don't know if that's a mailbox. I forget what it says, but I know it's going to get to the right people if I put it in there, and I know it's locked, right? So.
Yeah.
I was looking at those at first, but the more I thought about it and the more I thought, well, there is a likelihood that we could be stuck like we've been, not being able to be at the library. So wouldn't it be smarter to make sure your receptacle can handle that stuff that wants to keep coming, whether you're open or not, you know?
Okay. Yeah,
Well,
good
and
question.
again, if we get into a pickle with the whole Saturday thing and employees and staff, and we have to be closed during the summer months or whatever, just having
At
that
least we
there.
know the mail's safe.
Yeah.
And I like that it locks. I mean, that's good.
Okay.
So,
I mean, at one point, we literally had mail coming with a stone on top of it sometimes. That's not really ideal.
In
No.
today's age, you need a lock spot for security.
Yeah. UPS won't leave it at a business unless somebody's there.
Okay, so I don't mean to delay this topic, but I think it would be beneficial for us to know if Bruce can.
Yeah. I'll have an answer for you next time we meet.
Is there any way you could vote on it if the town has, like, either way, like if the town would cover the cost that you would approve it, or if the town decides not to and says it's our responsibility, so I could be prepared? You know what I mean? Is there any way that could be done now? Have people looked at the?
So what you're saying, Stacy, is you'd like an answer sooner than our next meeting?
Well, it might be good
Correct.
to be.
I'll bring it up at our town board meeting.
That's this Thursday, right?
That's this Thursday. If I'm unable to talk to the supervisor about it tomorrow when I'm in.
Okay.
But yeah, I'll bring that up.
Okay, and then.
So the answer to your question is yes, I will get back to you sooner than the next time we meet.
But
Okay.
we need to
Thank
know,
you, Bruce.
like, if Bruce gets an answer of, go ahead and do it, but you have to pay for it, or go ahead and do it and we'll cover it, whatever that answer is going to be. If there's a green light to go ahead and do it, however that takes form, do I have approval to get the box, or do I have to wait till almost August?
Is there a way, Tara, for us to make some sort of motion that allows Stacy some leeway now based on what direction it goes in?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'll start off with making a motion to approve the library purchase a mailbox in the event that the town will not cover the purchase of a mailbox, that we approve that.
And I
I'll second it.
Do you like one of the?
Shouldn't we add in there that we have to hear from the town what size we're allowed?
I don't think they will. Are they dictating what size, or just that they will either purchase or not purchase?
No, they might want to say no bigger than. We should get that information.
Yeah, that's a good point, Steve. Right.
Okay.
So
Okay.
Make
how,
that part of the resolution.
assuming, Stacy, that you do get the, let's assume we get a go-ahead, whether it's the town paying for it, we're paying for it, whatever, right? How is installation handled with it being the town's property, right?
Right.
I mean, it's the ones you've looked at, they go in the ground or on a pad or something.
Why don't we have Bruce see if the town will install it either way?
Right. That would be
That way they're going to be happy with the installation.
Right.
Yeah.
Good point, Steve.
Makes sense.
If you wanna share what's in the board report with the town board members and the supervisor.
Yep.
So how about we do this? It might be easier if we just jump on for a quick touch base on the mailbox. If Bruce finds out on Thursday, he can let us know. And then, you know, I don't know if folks want to pop on Monday night really quick. 6 o'clock, are folks available, and we can discuss it if the town is not going to.
Well, do you want to just approve the recommended mail
Prove it on a,
as
prove it on a
approved by the
contingency
town?
basis.
I'm sorry?
I would say, let's word it such that we prove it on a contingency basis once we know we have town approval.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you only approve what the town approves, basically.
Yeah, I can tell you the likelihood of us voting on a resolution for the payment and installation of a mailbox this Thursday is really low.
Okay.
They got to have time to, I got to be able to talk to Scott, our engineer, about it. And it makes sense to me that if you're renting a home, you should have a mailbox already.
Mm-hmm.
But the payment of that's got to come from somewhere, and it's going to be, the turnaround is not going to be 3 days on that. So.
And it
I
still
will-
has to be approved by the postmaster as to the size.
Right. So I will get back to you with the feedback that I receive as soon as possible. I'm happy to meet on Monday if you want, quickly, to have some FaceTime and discuss it.
Okay.
Or I can email you all and we can do it that way.
What do people want to do?
I think it'll be more productive if we just do a quick 30-minute get together, talk it out. I think we'll move faster personally. I don't know what everybody else thinks.
No, I
Okay.
agree.
But don't we need to know what the town is going to do first? I'm confused.
That's what the Zoom meeting will be. Bruce will find out, right?
Right. I can
Right,
give you
but
an update.
At least an update whether, you know.
We need to do that email.
I like the
You'll
idea of
give
an
us
email
an
myself.
you'll give us an update by Monday, of the next Monday?
I will give you an update as to what I find out through my conversation with the town and through the town's engineer. Hey, the topic of a mailbox came up with the library. They don't have a mailbox. Shouldn't we provide one for them? And then see where that conversation goes. And then I'll update you all on the content of that conversation.
Yeah. And if you could share the ideal sort of receptacle because of the packages and everything.
I
Yeah,
will
it's not
certainly-
like a house mailbox. It's definitely.
Right, no, I
Yeah.
will certainly do that as well. Yes.
So
So-
we'll all
Idea, Bruce.
be back next Monday at 6, right, Tara?
I heard two different opinions. I heard some people
Oh, sorry.
preferring the emails.
Yeah, so how about this? We will wait to hear from Bruce.
Okay,
Once you have the town meeting on Thursday, let us know, and then just be prepared if we need to continue this conversation. If you're available Monday at 6,
sure.
jump on a quick call. If we can't move forward or we need a couple more days to get some more information, then we can kind of hang tight. And I know we're in a hurry, but at least we're making some forward
Yeah,
momentum.
no, that's
with it.
good.
But we won't, we
Okay.
definitely won't let this sit until our next meeting.
Okay.
But once we have some more details, I think we can move from there. Is everybody okay with that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
I may not be able to hop on a call on Monday because I'm going to be away. So it just depends
Okay. All right.
on if I have access.
Okay. Totally understand.
Okay.
All
right.
right. So at this point, I think we have, no, virtual versus in-person meetings. So for, where are we? For July, August, I know there's a mixed bag with folks that would prefer to meet in person versus virtually. And there was some conversation going back and forth. So, you know, I think, and I don't know if everybody got a chance to see the communication from Pioneer, that they're kind of suggesting that folks keep meeting virtually until we get the all clear. I personally tend to agree with that. With that said, I think if folks are passionate about meeting with a mixed bag, we could have some folks meet in person and others be virtual. I'd like to open the floor for some discussion, comments. Not sure how others feel.
Well, if we're in
I would
stage
prefer
4,
the virtual. Yeah.
I prefer in person, but I'll go along with the group.
I'd rather meet in person if that's possible.
Gary'd prefer
If
to
we
stay
social
virtual.
distance, we should be able to.
Yeah, we are a small group.
So with that said, if we did meet in person, Stacy, you know, what does that look like for the library as far as opening, cleaning?
Well, everybody'd have to wear masks. You have to sit 6 feet apart from each other, and then all the tables and everything's would have to be sanitized. Just, you know, if the bathrooms get used, because it depends what day. If it's a Monday, the library will be closed by 6:30. So if anybody goes to the bathroom before the meeting, right before the meeting or after, you know, that has to be sanitized.
So I heard 3 people wanted to do in person, and I heard at least 3 people that said they want to do virtual. So I think we're split somewhat down the middle.
I
here, guys.
didn't chime in and I said virtual, or I would say virtual at this point still.
So Gary
So
said
who did I
virtual, Tara
hear
said
that
virtual,
wanted-
Denise said virtual, Debbie said virtual. Mert, I think you said in person,
Yes.
and so did Steve and Hal. So we're we're kind of split, guys.
Yeah, I mean, I personally like the virtual, but yeah, that's, I guess, just where we are. So,
Well, we know we're gonna meet mid what,
July.
mid-July. Let's table this and bring it back up and kind of see what's going on with the library. See what's going on a little bit more. Got a couple more weeks of stage 4 openings, and we'll have a little more data and revisit it maybe.
yep, I was actually just going to suggest that, or you know, we see how July goes, and since the library is closing at 6:30 on Mondays, if we, you know, we touch base about this again, end up extending hours in August. But yeah, so why don't we table it until the mid-July meeting, since we're pretty split and we see where the numbers are and where we go from there. If that's
I'm okay with that.
everybody.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
Cleaning got brought up. I'm not really clear, Bruce. Are we getting cleaning services at the library at this point? Or do I need to look for somebody? Because that's a concern of mine. Like, I have all the PPE and the stuff we need to do, but what about the cleaning of the library? I'm just not clear on what's happening.
Neither am I. We're still looking for our own cleaning service. Right now,
Oh,
the
okay.
employees are doing the cleaning.
So you are doing it all. So
Yes.
is that something that when you get that in place for the town hall, it'll kind of trickle over to the library?
Right, because we took care of the cleaning of the library, right?
Right.
Prior, yeah.
What happened to Shannon, the previous cleaner? Do you know?
I do not know. No.
Okay. I'm a little bit concerned about continuing on with, even though it's just staff and, you know, possibly one person from the community per hour, I feel like, you know, it should be cleaned at least every other day really well.
Right. And the cleaning now is different than the cleaning then, right?
Right.
You can't just go around with
Yeah.
vacuum.
So is that a topic
Yep.
for your meeting on Thursday, Bruce?
I'm sure that it will be. I know that we've been looking for a cleaning agency that is able to meet the guidelines that are in place.
So maybe when you status the mailbox, you could also give us a status on if there's anything to share
Yes,
on the cleaning.
I'd do that. To be honest with you, I'd rather be talking about paint colors than
How times
disinfecting.
change.
If the
Well,
town,
my bedroom needs painting. I don't know if you want to
Yeah.
give me a color.
Not
you
in
know?
addition to, in lieu of. But okay, yeah, cleaning, yes.
What was that? Lemon sorbet? Do you recommend that? Was that realistic?
if the town doesn't have a cleaner that's going to be lined up real soon, like by next week.
We have to line it up in order for us to open to the public.
But what is your target date?
Some of that is depending upon the installation of a window for a clerk. And so a lot of those requests have been backed up because there's a lot of demand out there.
So would it be okay to, if the town doesn't have anything in place when we're reopening, to go ahead and maybe call Shannon and see if the old cleaner might be able to, I mean, somebody cleaning in any capacity is better than no one, because it makes me nervous.
Yeah, so I haven't been as involved, but it's the, what is it? It's New York Forward, right? They have some guidelines on there and a template that you can use. And it sounds like you have to have a plan in place that doesn't necessarily have to, the state isn't collecting these, right? It's not something that you have to file, but if you're questioned about what you're doing, you have to be able to show that there was a proper plan in place that follows those guidelines. So I have not thoroughly read through the guidelines for cleaning, but my feeling is if you and the board have a plan and you're following those guidelines around cleaning, and you can demonstrate that you're doing everything appropriately, should you be questioned, I think that's fine.
Well, we didn't have a plan for cleaning because it originally was something that the town took care of.
Right.
But what I'm saying is, I don't want to open the doors of the library and open us up to a huge liability problem.
Right.
You know, because if somebody comes in and they're sick, and then public health is going to come in, and if they find out we're not having the building cleaned, I mean, it would be a liability for the town too, because I mean, it would be bad.
That's exactly right. And that's why we have been very slow to reopen.
Julia here, I just want to add that we've already had a blood drive during this time, and tomorrow we have voting in the community room, and the restrooms have not been, we've kind of cleaned the toilets and wiped down the sinks as we use them. But we do have members of the public now coming in to use the restrooms in the library because of the community room, and they're not being professionally cleaned. So as a staff member, I'm a little concerned about that. And
get a new toilet brush, Stacy.
Just in general, like the floors haven't been mopped, and like that hasn't been part of our staff duties, and we certainly can do it, but we didn't know that that was now an expectation. And because we
Right.
do have community using the building for purposes, for, you know, for community purposes.
Bruce
I didn't know
was
that.
was
So is
the,
the community room is being reserved through the town
No,
clerk?
it's for the voting tomorrow.
Yeah,
for the
and yes, the
primary.
American Red Cross did reserve the room through the town.
Right.
And I thought, I'm sorry, but I thought with the blood drive, we asked that that door be closed and no access was in the hallway and the bathrooms.
No, we said that they could have access to
We
the
did.
bathrooms
we did
because,
say they could have the bathroom.
yeah, because
Okay, I
Yeah.
thought we were.
people get faint, they
weird.
might need to splash themselves with water or whatever.
Bruce, was the cleaning contract with the previous cleaner terminated? Or is that contract still in place?
I think it's still in place, Gary. I can't give you a,
So my take, even though you're maybe not happy or you're looking for someone that meets the certain guidelines, right?
yeah,
Could we at least leverage the existing contract just to get, you know, a once a week cleaning,
right.
even though we don't know for sure that they're following the state guidelines, at least
Right.
we know somebody's doing something until you guys get a new contract in place with
Yeah.
somebody else.
And
Yeah.
I would say maybe twice a week under the current situation if possible. At least, even if it's just the bathrooms, because let's face it, that's probably the germiest place. And if they could just wipe down all like doorknobs and things like that. I mean, those are the areas that are most risky. Doorknobs and bathrooms, faucets, toilet flushers, anything that people touch.
Okay.
We'll take
Well,
care of counters. We already have to do that. We're doing it constantly.
Okay. I'll update you on that as well.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
And about that paint color,
All right. Any other topics? I think we covered all of our agenda topics. Anything else anybody would like to chat about?
No.
All right. With that said, I will go ahead and make our motion to adjourn.
Oh, one thing,
Second.
if you have social media as a trustee, please advertise that we have curbside. And also, do you get my email blast? Because summer reading's gone virtual. So if you could share that, that would be awesome.
Okay.
I don't get it.
I don't either.
Are you sure you don't get it?
Yep.
I've looked 100 times. And
Is
both
that
emails.
one was spam?
Nope. Mm-mm.
Hmm.
So,
Weird.
okay. All right. So,
All right.
I'm sorry, who seconded?
Steve,
I'll second it. Steve and
Okay.
Denise. Okay.
And all in favor.
Aye.
Aye.
Bye.
All right. And that was everybody, Denise.
Okay,
Unanimous, it's running late.
Thank you all. Have a great rest of your night, and we will
You
talk
too.
shortly.
Bruce, let me know if anybody over at the town hall is interested in any of the tools I've set up, if you think it would help your situation,
Okay.
having
Thank-
appointments and stuff.
Thank you very much,
Meet
Stacy.
again on Monday at 6.
Possibly, yeah. We'll be in touch once we hear from Bruce.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you
sounds
very
good.
much.
good enough.
Okay.
thank
Good night.
you.
Over now.
Good night.
Bye.
Night.